I wanted to ask you, I was at practice yesterday, had the chance to talk to Karl. She's developing quite a relationship with Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, several people on the team. What's your perspective on this kind of big sister, little sister thing they have going on?
I don't know. They have a lot of fun with it, and they enjoy, being around each other, and they like to joke around and things like that. So, they keep things loose, keep things fun. Uh, Pal, she gets out there and she is fearless, and you love that about her. Now we're hoping that she continues to develop her game on both sides of the ball to become the player that she's capable of becoming.
Coach Ernest Rachel, PNB Sports. When you had a chance to look at the film after the last game, what's some of the things that you took away and something that you put into practice this week?
Well, I think at times we're really, really good, like top of the W type good. But it needs to be consistent throughout an entire game. And I think sometimes we get to playing the scoreboard, or we start to adjust what we're doing when the plan wasn't to adjust what we're doing. Like, we want to put pressure on the other team. We want the ball to keep moving. And I mean, for 4 quarters, no matter what the score is, we're not, especially when it's really when you're playing any team, but especially when you're playing a great team, you got to keep making plays to win. You got to go win the game. You can't just try to hold on to the game. And I think that's something that we've got to start to understand. It's about, all right, can we continue to execute at a high level, even if the other team's playing really well right now? Now it's got to be 2 teams playing really, really well.
As a follow-up, did you notice that your team were kind of showing signs of trying to hold on to the lead?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, we want to push the pace. We want to get into a lot of action. So if you see us kind of walk it up and there's not much going on, that's not the way we're supposed to be playing. And, this is something that we'll learn. Seems like we've had a ton of games, but we're just a quarter of the way in the season. We got to keep growing, keep getting better. We got to learn from each of these instances. And, I think we'll do that.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, you just saw this team about a week ago. And of course, Tahina and Alicia, they had their career highs. I guess when you see that, do you kind of look back at that film and see what you guys did good, or do you just keep going and seeing what you guys did maybe wrong in the last game and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we watch all the film. Whoever we're going to play in the last game, and we're trying to constantly find things that we can get better at. One thing I think a game goes a certain way, and people automatically expect the next game to go exactly the same way, even though it never does. We still have those expectations. Like, our last game against Washington was one of our best performances of the year, and in truth, Washington, that was probably one of their toughest games that they played. They're going to play much better. It's going to be hard for us to play at that same level, although we're going to try to. And then there's all kinds of other variables that come into 40 minutes of a basketball game. So, the biggest thing you got to guard against is just understanding that none of the points from the last game carry over, and you got 40 minutes to be the best team tonight.
Coach, last game, all 5 starters hit a 3 within the first, I think it was 3 minutes in the game. BG hit her second of the season. Is that something you want them to establish early in the game to try to space out the floor, or does that happen within the flow of the offense?
No, the only time that really happened by design is like the first preseason game. We wanted BG to get the first 3. Every other time it's just how they're guarding us and are you open? And if you're open, we want you to shoot it. Now, we do want our bigs to be threats on the perimeter, and part of that is being comfortable to shoot the ball out there. And, my theory is once they get comfortable, they will shoot a really good percentage. And if we get to the point where our bigs can be dominant inside and shoot from the perimeter, once you get second half of the season or into the playoffs, you become much, much harder to defend.
Hi, Coach. Cassie with Women's Basketball 365. You have one of the strongest backcourts in the league. Can you talk about your process in managing that depth from your starters to Your bench players, we've seen you make adjustments to the starting lineup and then the starters coming out of the half and then down the stretch. Can you talk to some of your process with that?
Yeah, I don't know that I have a real process. I've gone into games thinking I would have a process, and then I haven't stuck to it. So, Alicia and Rye are so good. They get the vast majority of minutes at those wing spots, and Rye shifts over to the point guard sometimes. And I want to get to the point where I'm getting them scheduled breaks, and so that means more Tori and Maya and more Powell, and I think that'll benefit us in the long run. At the same time, we're at a point where we thought we had an opportunity to win this Commissioner's Cup, and it probably led us to putting some additional load and minutes on some of our players. Hopefully now there'll be an opportunity to get some more rotation into it, but when you get in, you got to do something with it. You got to play well so that we can continue with the rotation.
As a quick follow-up, you spoke to Alicia Gray. She's shooting a career best right now. I think she's 10% up from her last season field goal percentage. Can you just speak to her work ethic?
Well, I think she's always been a tremendous worker. I think if there's any difference this year is, she's seeing her opportunities, so I think the shot quality that she's getting is better. She's moving without the ball. She's finding her opportunities to cut. She's scoring in conversion. She'll sneak a putback in every once in a while, so it's not that she has to break people down every time and shoot with a hand in her face every time. And I think she has really benefited from just understanding these opportunities as they develop.